possibly could my 11-year-old child who is in 5th grade done that has warranted all of this police activity? He's been controlling the internet at the school for the past 3 months.
Alright, y'all, man. Welcome back to Talk Tech with 50, man. It's your boy 50, man. What's happening? Man, I appreciate all the support. I think I got 70-something subscribers now. Hell, y'all. And then, most importantly, I'm from Atlanta, right? The Braves done won the World Series, baby. So, hey, it's a whole lot of Braves jerseys going to be going on for the next probably couple months, man. Got to represent, you feel me? But nah, man, short of that, man, appreciate y'all checking out the video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I got a dope video for y'all today, man. I'm gonna be doing the reactions, probably my first one, and I want to start doing more of these. But I was on Facebook and I seen this video from World Star where there was this mama of this student, 11 years old, man, buddy done took down the internet for the whole school system, you feel me? I mean, the whole thing, man. So, yeah, man, we definitely gonna get into that, so yeah. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into this video like this,
When I tell y'all, I've been holding in this story for the past 7 months, just waiting to tell you. Now that everything is settled and done,
let's do it, Shaka.
Share this information. But here we go. 7 months ago is April of 2021. Now, I have an 11-year-old, my only child. So, during the school year, they were in school 1 week, homeschool the next week, or virtual the next week. So, this particular week that he is in school, mind you, they've been having connectivity issues, all that stuff. It's just been a troublesome year, but this is the first year that they have gone, virtual. Things happened, COVID. So anyways, I get a phone call from school telling me that I need to get to the school to come there to deal with some issues with my child. So they told me that he is not in danger, but he is in major trouble. I pull up to the school. There are 4 police officers, the district attorney's office, the superintendent, the principal, 3 IT technicians. At first, I'm thinking maybe he took the pow-pow to school, maybe he got into my safe, maybe he knows the code and I don't know that he knows the code. But obviously that is not the issue here. So I get in there. He's sitting in the hallway in tears. I said, I don't know what you've done, but what did you do? So he would not tell me. He was shaking, very visibly upset. So they told me to sit down. They said, Miss blah, 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 please have a seat. It is a very serious matter. I said, what possibly could my 11-year-old child who is in 5th grade done that has warranted all of this police activity? He's been controlling the internet at the school for the past 3 months. So he was shutting it off, turning it back on when he wanted to. It was to the point where these kids had off school. Their teachers could not email each other. They could not instant message each other. These kids were off school every other week. And he would come to me and be like, Mom, the internet's messed up. Nobody can do anything, so they let us out early today. And I'm like, wow, they still haven't figured this out yet? Of course.
You know what? Seeing stuff like this brings me joy. Now, I am in no way, shape, or form, how can I put this? I'm not, I guess, I'm proud of little man. I ain't even gonna hold you. I'm proud of him. Yeah, what he did was wrong, technically, but hey, he already has a bright future ahead of him. This guy already knows what he's doing, and he's 11 years old. There are most adults in this IT industry that probably don't know half of what he did as an 11-year-old. Usually for people, whenever I tell people who want to get into IT about, there are certain people that probably don't need certifications because they've been doing this since they were like teenagers and younger, and they don't need certifications because they just have been badasses ever since they were like kids. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. He took down the school's internet. You know, it's impressive, honestly. Not even gonna lie to you. It's impressive. You know? I'd love to mentor the guy. You feel me? Like, shoot, man, like this is amazing. And so on World Star, you know, like they had the title was like what was the title? What's the title? Cybersecurity needs to hire him. To be completely honest, this isn't even really a cybersecurity issue for real. It's more networking. But this is why I always urge people who want to get into cybersecurity, start off doing networking. So then that way you can understand the architecture, how things get from point A to point B. And most importantly, you can discern a networking issue from a security issue. You know, security is always so quick to blame networking, but that's usually when they don't know any networking at all. And this is coming from stuff that I've seen in real life. You know, it's like I've seen people from security teams blame the networking team. I'm like, dude, just run a command or two. You know, like networking, the crux of doing networking is troubleshooting, is getting to the root of things, the root cause of things, you know. And so in cybersecurity, it's more so of, you know, monitoring the state of, you know, some stuff that's connected to the internet and how secure they are, you know. So those are two totally different worlds, you know. But this isn't really a cybersecurity issue. This is more of a networking issue. But yeah, let's keep going in the video. I want to get a little technical with this. Let's go.
Of course, they didn't figure it out because it was him. They called in the National Guard to figure it out, and they could not figure it out.
Okay. So, you know what? Here's what we're gonna do. So let me explain something to you guys. So it's about to get a little technical, right? So just follow me. So in a school system, like let's say whatever school this kid goes to, the network is usually hub and spoke, which means that, you know, the hub or the center, there's like this one place where all the internet for all the schools come in and go out. You know, first of all, it's way more practical. You know, could you imagine trying to pay for, you know, like 50 or 100 schools' internets as opposed to like just one internet connection, and then just paying for bandwidth and, you know, networking equipment? You know, so more times than not, you're going to see a hub and spoke situation as far as their networking goes. So chances are this kid, he got to the border router or the core router, the core switch, you know, like whatever is the closest thing to one of the closer devices to the internet upstream. He got to that and he probably shut something off. You know, to be completely honest, I don't think this was like an internal, like, will be like a cybersecurity attack. Like, I don't think this was like some kind of like, or it could have been, you know, you never know. It could have been a denial of service. You know, it could have been like a ping flood or a SYN flood, or it could have been some kind of flood that he hit the network with and he choked everything. You know, so it could be a cybersecurity thing. It could be. Or it could be a networking thing. So let's say, for instance, that this kid was able to get into a networking device and shut some stuff down. It's possible. Like what I'll do is like I'll run both scenarios. Like I really don't know the details of this, but I'll just say like what would be possible from a networking and what would be possible from a security perspective, right? So let's start with networking, right? So in order to take down a school or a school system, you would have to essentially affect devices way upstream closer to the internet. Definitely like a layer 3 device like a core switch or a core router, right? And so the first thing, if I'm a network engineer and we're having issues, the first thing I'm going to check is, can I SSH into this guy? Can I remote into this guy? Okay, cool. I can remote in, which means that, network connectivity, at least internally, is somewhat okay. Before I run another command, I'm going to try and get out to the internet. Okay. Can't get out to the internet. All right. Run a trace route maybe from a computer. Okay. It stops. Where does it stop? That's a good place to investigate, right? Do you really, so like I walked you through like some very basic things. Does it sound like you need the National Guard to do that? No. Right? So I really hope they didn't call the National Guard to look into this, because that sounds actually pretty bad for those guys, right? So okay, so I try and go out to the internet, I can't. Try and trace route, it stops like 1 or 2 hops. And honestly, the trace route is the telltale sign. Does the trace route get past the router? That should tell you everything right there. Does it get past the router? No. Cool. Now let's start from the top. The border router that connects to the internet service provider, or the ISP for short, is BGP up. Run show BGP summary. If you see numbers there, then that means it's up, right? So that means that you have connectivity to your internet service provider, which means you should be able to get out to the internet. All right. So now let's take it a step down. Now let's go to some of your layer 3 switches. Are all the uplinks up? Can you get to everything? Show interface statuses, show IP interface brief, show CDP neighbor. Those 3 commands you can run pretty much on every switch, right? And you can see and you probably would need to run them 1-2 switches max, to see if the internet is down. If the network architecture, that ain't hard to track down at all. You can pretty much tell what's down and what caused it. If an interface is down, modules down, somebody administratively took down an interface, or turned it off, in layman's terms, you can easily see that, right? So you have that. And then on the security side, he might have some tools on his computer, where he's pretty much choking the network, flooding the network, right? So let's say if you have a port, or a switch, which might be old 2960, maybe old 3750X, who knows? Got an old switch, but you know, but you're sending packets, you're broadcasting like crazy. You got a lot of traffic going on. And so if you have a lot of traffic going on, you know, you can do some damage. You could choke some stuff. You know, like if you have a program that like sends out like a lot of like packets, you know, like a lot of SIM packets, or, you know, like, or a crap ton of pings or whatever, you know, pretty much it would have to be a denial of service if he did this, you know, from the security standpoint, right? And so, yeah, man, that's, yeah. Let's continue watching the video. I'm curious to see how this ends.
So then they had to go through every single computer at the school. Once they narrowed it down to one school, they went through every single computer as these children were at recess and at lunch until they figured out it was him. Our child's a criminal. He's a criminal.
He ain't no criminal. Well, I guess technically, I mean, he's 11. He's curious. You know, to be completely honest, you know, kids or people that do that kind of stuff, they usually get a job. You know, more time they usually get a job. Pretty, you know, pretty decent pay too. Pretty decent pay too. Here's the crazy part. I wonder what kind of mechanism or what kind of methodology they use to actually track this down, right? Or how they even remediated or mitigated it. You know, I'm super curious. I'm really curious. You know? Because at the time that the internet went down, you know, the first thing you should do is, you know, do a couple of tests. And then the second thing, you check your logs. You always check your logs. Did somebody actually, you know, make some changes? If you're logging correctly, you should see a username in there. Are these local logins or are these TACAC? Or are they, you know, using TACAX or Radius for authentication? Right? Who's the user? Whose mans is this? Who did this? Okay, cool. Now we got who did this. What IP address did they do this from? Okay, cool. Now we got the IP address. Boom. Now let's get the MAC address. Run the show art. Get the MAC address. Since you're so high up, upstream with the switches, you're close to the internet. You got to go downstream, closer to, you know, those spoke schools that I was talking about. You know, so it would take you probably like, you know, a couple minutes, you know, to get down to the nitty gritty to try and track the MAC address that way. But you can get it. You could get it all the way down to the port it's plugged into if he's plugged in physically. You know, if he's, you know, like if he did this wirelessly, you know, you'll be able to get the general vicinity, you know, take a look at the MAC address, and then you'd be able to, you know, track down the actual physical computer. You know, so I really wondered how they did it and how this went on for so long, for 3 months. For 3 months. You mean to tell me that IT professionals couldn't tell the difference between an outage or an intermittent issue and somebody actually doing something? Yo, that's crazy. Yo, that's wild. You know, which makes this even more impressive. You know, which which kind of drives home one of my points. If you watch any of my videos, I always tell people, man, look, you'll be surprised who knows stuff and who doesn't know stuff. Now, I'm not saying anything about like these individuals in particular, but that's why it's always, pretty important to have, some solid people on your team, some solid people that can, that you can call, like when the shit hits the fan, you can call them. They're the ones that, can put your mind at ease with what's going on. It might take you 20 minutes to troubleshoot. It might take them 5 minutes. They don't have to log into anything. All you can just ask them a couple questions. They can tell you right what it is. Boom. Yeah, this is an outage. Yeah, this is an intermittent issue. Or no, it's not. Somebody's doing something. It took me a while for me to get from one point to the other, but now I'm on the other side, baby. Shoot, now I'll just ask you something. You're like, oh, well, Randall, the network's down. Oh, word? Yeah. You can get out to the internet? Nope. How about a trace route? Where's it stopping? It's stopping at the router. All right, BGP up? No. There you go. Or, yeah, BGP is up. Oh, okay, cool. And so from the switch, or from the switch, one step downstream, can you trace out to Google? Yeah, I can. Okay, cool. Go down. You gotta figure it out. There may be like a link that's down, which goes out to the internet, or shoot, can you get to everything? The right person can, get to the, I don't even want to say the right person. Most people with networking acumen, they can get, they can pretty much tell what's going on in about 10 minutes. All right, man. So yeah, man. Hey, that's what was happening, man. Like, I'm still proud of little man. Like, even though he was, in the wrong, man, shoot, he on the right track. You feel me? And for those folks, that were looking into this issue, man, like on the networking side, man, just be sure, check your interfaces, make sure they're up, check your BGP connections, check and make sure that you can get to everything, check and see if, there's like any log-ons or anything like that, that look a little weird, you know what I mean? Like, and you really shouldn't, and people on the user VLAN shouldn't be talking to management VLAN members anyway. That's crazy. And from the security side, if it was like a flood or a DDoS or something like that, or a denial of service or something like that, shoot, man, like all you got to do is, if you're tracking your NetFlow, or if you have like NetFlow exporters turned on the interfaces, all you got to do is like run like a show IP flow top talkers, or if you have like Stealth Watch or something like that, or you're sending like your flow logs over to a SIM or something like that, you should be able to see, like what is the cause of, that denial of service. You should be able to see like what sent like the most packets, in a time frame. And so usually what I would do, like from the security side, like if I were to write a SIM rule for this, I'd probably write something where, let's say, I would say maybe 200, 100 packets, sent out from the same source with, in less than a minute or 2 minutes or something like that. That's a pretty good indicator that something is going on. So they should have been able to catch this, you know, had they had the right tools and know-how and stuff in there. And I'm not trying to beat them up, but yeah, they should have been on top of this for real, man. But yeah, man, nah, for real, man. Like, if you have any other info, or shoot, if I missed some, or if you want me to elaborate on something, please be sure to comment below. I got you. You know what I mean? If you're new to this channel, man, I appreciate it, man. Please be sure to continue to support, man. Go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And you know what I mean? Like, see whenever I got something going on, man. And I'm definitely going to be posting more. So, yeah, man, we here, man. This is Talk Tech with 50, man. I appreciate y'all checking me out, man. I'm going to holler at you, man.